Hey, folks, welcome back to Unofficially Opinionated, the podcast where we talk about whatever with our unofficial opinions. I'm here again with Nate and Tim, per
Yo,
usual. What's up, guys?
what's up?
All right, well, today we're going to be talking about.
I'm just trying to sound hood.
Trying to sound hood. Nice try. Nice try.
Thank you.
Nice try.
I'm working on it.
Well, look, today we're going to be talking about making friends as an adult. Difficult stuff. But before that, how'd you guys' week been? What's up?
Y'all don't want to hear about my week.
I want to hear about the week. We don't get into the nitty gritty detail, but it sounds like it was interesting.
I'll get into the nitty gritty. It was interesting. No, I ain't gonna call nobody out, but it could have been better, but I guess it was good. Like now I'm currently without a job, so that's probably the nittiest of the goodies that I'll go into. But for those of y'all listening, it was not due to my performance or lack thereof. It was due to it was due to the administrative processes of the company that I was in. So I kind of got stuck in between.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, first in, first or last in, first out kind of situation, I guess, probably similarly, or.
Well, it was more of they were unprepared. And when it finally got to me, well, I was the one that got the short end of the stick. So, because obviously, nothing. Anyways, because.
Got you.
So,
I'll read between the lines. It was. Yep. Got it.
My week.
Yeah. So yeah, it was rough times. So, but anyways, like I am a survivor. Actually,
you're gonna make it.
I'm gonna make it.
Stop.
I'm not gonna give up. I'm going back.
Man, that sounds familiar. Oh, no.
Nah, it's gonna be good. It's always good. So, yep. So that was my week. Hoping in the coming few weeks that things will get better. I'm not necessarily looking for a job. Like I don't like just looking for a job. Like I like being in a place where I feel like I'm useful, like I'm doing something, and not just doing stuff. Like I'm useful, you know.
Yeah.
Feel like I'm improving or something like that, because I don't like just doing a 9-to-5 sort of thing. Like I like being there and trying new things and whatever. So apart from I'm looking for a job, but I'm also looking for something to do, but I'm also looking into like being an entrepreneur eventually. Seeing how that goes. I'm just working on whatever.
Yeah, I get this. Sometimes I feel like on the one hand I do want a challenge and autonomy and making a difference, but sometimes I want to be like, I just want to have a 9-to-5 where I go in at 9, I do my stuff, I leave and turn my brain off, and it doesn't matter what's happening. Like, and also be able to support my lifestyle the way I want. which probably doesn't work. Now, again, I don't think I would want to do that forever, but there are times where I just need a good 6 months to a year where I can just not have to use my brain too much or think too hard about consequence. I just, I go here and I push these buttons for the day, then I go home, and I'm done. Right? I don't got to think about it anymore.
Yeah, well, you know what? For me, for us in this podcast, I think that I would really be legit be able to. I don't know if it ever became like a profit making, or maybe if there was a spinoff or a profit making thing, I'd be able to run with that. I have no idea how that would ever happen, but But then I see the other side of it. What you were saying is like you're doing it, but then it becomes your baby, so you have to do like you have to do everything. So no, it's not a 9-to-5. Like it's almost a 24/7.
But also, you're invested. You're thinking about it, and you're strategizing, and you're mulling over options, and you don't turn it off because your job isn't just to do. Your job is to really is your brain, right? So
yeah, but But and just in thinking that, I do think that there you could find that balance. You would really have to learn how to turn your brain off, which is what I've done, or not turn it off, but just really relax and be like, listen, this is one of those things I'm not going to think about, not because, well, the way I do it is like I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to let it, like, well, I think about it. I'm just like, I've done what I need to do, and I also need some rest. So God ain't gonna let me fall. So, I just like, yeah, and take like a week off maybe or something, just chill. Be like, listen, if I come, what if I come back and everything is like crap? Well, listen, we'll just pick it up and move on from there. You're like, like it's just got to be done. You have to take a break. So,
For
yeah.
sure, for sure. Well, Tim, how about your week?
Uh, you know, we had some challenges and some things, and along with those
It's a
things, had
challenging
some
week there.
stuff.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to read between some other lines here. All right. Nate Nate had some and then and Tim stuff happened with Tim.
With some things,
Some things
Yeah.
happened
you know,
Well,
during the
Chris, was your
week.
week any better?
Yeah, I was at work and I was at home. I ate some things. Went to bed most of the time, but no,
Listen, I'm just vague
right.
because I don't want to hurt
Oh, I get
anybody's
it. I
feelings.
get it. I get it. Yeah, I mean, my week. I think I mentioned you guys a little bit earlier. Um, I've come to the conclusion that where I am may not be where I need to necessarily be long term, which wasn't where I
Hmm.
was a few months ago. But I've just kind of mentally made that shift. Now, it doesn't mean I'm doing less or whatever, but it does mean my brain is now more open to like what else is out there. So, we'll see what happens. But I'm also mentally. That means I'm mentally trying to, in some ways, accomplish more, right, and like get some things actually done. So in the event that I do move on, like these things are done, not in the
Yeah.
midst of being done, right? So I do want to, it's not that I'm trying to wrap it up and then leave, but I do want to make sure that at least I don't leave and like, yeah, there are like 25 things that were in process, right?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
if I'm going to be here 2 years, it feels less urgent. Although this is probably a good way to just do it overall. This is a problem I have, right? It's just
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
the finishing piece is difficult for me
Yeah.
sometimes. I get into it and we're moving and we're constantly iterating, close them out
Hmm.
and get it done, and then move to the next thing. So this is probably just for the best anyway for me, just mentally, just be a little more focused on kind of um, finishing things versus kind of starting things. So yeah,
Right. Okay.
so that's been
I
my
feel you.
week. That's been my week. Well, this has been a good example of our topic today, which is friends and making friends as an adult. Um, I think we would agree that doing it as an adult is different than as a child. And whether you think that's more or less difficult might depend upon maybe just kind of your personal, personality or kind of your situation. But I guess we'll start with, when we talk about friendship, like what does friendship mean to you? And I don't mean this like in a some kind of deep heartfelt sense, but really just like when someone's talking about what a friend is or what a friendship is, like what do you think about what do you think that means?
Well, let's see. The first thing that comes to my mind when you're talking about that was, what is that? Wait. I know. Wait. Uh, I can't think of it right now. Geez. I had it in my head. Wait. Hold up. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna look it up
All
online.
right. Well, while he's looking, Tim, friendship.
friendship. I don't know if it's like I think it just depends on where you're at, like and then like your personality, like I have all my good friends right now, and we all know how I am, and 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 I know how they are. You know, I don't want to go through that process of trying to be this other person until you actually find out who I am again. You know, I got all my friends. I meet new friends, but
He
I,
said,
I I don't know how to explain that. Like I
"Wow."
got
All
all my
right.
friends.
He said, I don't even
That
know
that'll be
friends.
interesting a little bit later. So maybe a different question would be what you know why would someone be a friend and not an acquaintance, or is that the same thing, or what if someone tells you the word friend, like what is that engender in your mind, like what is a friend?
Wait, I gotta get this out of my out of my
All right, get it
system.
out of your system,
Okay,
Nate.
here you go. Here you go. Thank
Uh,
you for being a friend.
Ding.
Travel down the road and back
Ah,
this is not the
again.
go to kiss.
Like that is the song that came to my mind.
If you threw your body. All right.
And
Let
invited
look.
everyone
Let
you
me just tell
knew.
you, as I've gotten older, that is one of the best shows. That is one of my
Yes, it is. Yeah.
favorite shows. I can watch
Yes.
it all day. The
I
sarcasm.
want to
Oh,
get the DVD or whatever, like the.
oh, it's so amazing. So amazing.
Yes.
Oh, all
So
of
that's
them.
what I
Yes.
thought of.
Yes.
Yes. So sorry. What was your question?
What does friendship with the word friend mean to you?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Excuse me. I make friends really easily. Um, I always have, actually. I think just because I'm very open.
So when
And
you
I
say
know
you
that.
make friends easily, what is a friend?
Oh, yeah, because you said, what's it a friend as opposed to an acquaintance,
Yeah, that's one
right?
way to look at
So,
it potentially to help answer the question.
right. Okay, sorry. I A friend is like there's a feeling that I have when I recognize somebody as a friend. It doesn't have to be mutual either, because somebody can think that I'm an acquaintance or just somebody that they know. But if I have this like kind of this there's a feeling plus a knowing that like I can talk to them about like serious matters. Maybe obviously not all serious matter. In fact, my friends are kind of
Oh,
compartmentalized,
sure.
not necessarily purposely, but just I know, oh, I can talk to them about this and I can talk to them about this person about that. But if I get to that level where I feel like I can talk to them and that there's this, I don't know, it's like a combination of a feeling plus a knowing, um, you know, that's what it is. I've never actually never really thought of who I would classify, how I classify people as friends or acquaintances or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But I know, like, so for example, at my previous job now,
Oh,
at my previous
oh,
job, I met, I met this guy, and we were just acquaintances. I wouldn't have called him a friend. We were acquaintances. We were work colleagues. We might have been able to become friends, but it wasn't the case. But also in the same job, I was with a group of people. Like we all started at the same time. Those people, in my opinion, became my
mm-hmm.
friends. Right, and it actually kind of just started off a little like that. Well, maybe it was a little slow at the beginning, but we immediately became friends. But I think how that happened is just because we were all just so open with each other, and we weren't judging. I mean, we might have judged, but we didn't judge outwardly. So, so I mean, they might have judged. I wasn't
Right.
judging anybody as far as I know, but and if I did, I tried to ignore it, like tried to push it away. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if
Yeah,
that answers
I
your
don't know.
question, but
So
the thing is, I don't really
when
have
I
one.
was thinking about the question, I was really thinking about, obviously there's always different levels of friendship, right? So for me, at a base level, I was trying to think through it. It's almost like it's someone that I interact with without a how can I put it, like a transactional reason, right?
Mm,
So
mm-hmm.
even if it's someone at work, the people that I talk to at work, there's people I talk to at work, maybe not necessarily about work things in the moment, but I still wouldn't categorize them as friends because I don't really interact with them simply for the purpose of interacting. Like
Yeah.
I may go to their desk,
Mm-hmm.
ask them a question, then we talk about football or something else, but it's not like I'm like, hey, like, what's up? Let's
Yeah.
talk. Let's just talk. I don't. I mean, there are people that will come by just to chat, but to me, that's still kind of like it's work chat. It's still not like I'm
Yeah.
trying to talk to you about like my personal life. And so, and again, there's different levels of talking about your personal life, but any of it, I'm not necessarily sharing too often with any of these
Mm-hmm.
people. My
Yeah.
prior job, there are a few people that I still do text on occasion. We have some text chains going on, and we still talk randomly. To me, that's a friend. I'm not saying it's a
Mm-hmm.
close friend or a best friend necessarily, but it's still a friend because we're reaching out, we're talking. We don't have to. There's no need to. It's not about
Right.
how do we get this job or trying to interview. It's just, hey, what's up? Here's what's happening in my life. What's happening in your life. That's cool. So to me,
Yeah.
that's kind of at a base level, like it's a non-transactional relationship, I guess, in a way that
Yeah.
that you can share at least some level of your personal life with the person, I guess, is how I would kind of broadly define like what a friend is. um,
Yeah.
Now what a close friend is or a best friend, or that's a whole different
Yeah.
level, right?
Yeah.
But
Well, because I refuse to have any best friends. I was burned from that. I had. Did y'all know this story?
I don't think
Okay.
so.
So let me take you back. No, I used to. I always felt uncomfortable calling people my best friend. I don't know why. I just because I felt like you said a different type of connection with each person that I considered a friend. Um, so I tried to have a best friend who was Steve, actually.
Plot twist.
Right.
Like wait, so it wasn't me? No, I'm just
No, no,
kidding.
because I had met him before I met all of you. Also, like, and we got along really well because we could talk on the phone just randomly for like 3-4 hours, just basically what we all do now. Um, and we kind of just. I remember there was this one time we were on the phone, um, and we had some conversation, and then it just stopped, kind of like a lull, but it wasn't a lull. It just stopped. The conversation stopped,
Mhm.
and it was there. We didn't say anything for like, I don't know, like 10 seconds, and then we just died laughing. We just I haven't the slightest idea why. I just remember that, and we were just laughing so hard, and then of course we laughed for like 2-3 minutes like straight, like we just did not stop. But so I had considered him. Well, I had said to myself that he was my best friend. So when people would ask, I'd be like, well, Steve. But then I ended up talking to Steve uh, later, years later, I think, or whatever. And I think I said something about like he was, I had said that he was my best friend. And he said, or something happened where he had ended up telling me, I never said that I was your best friend, you know? I don't think he said it mean, but like,
Oh.
so so I remember that, and that was the moment when I had decided that I would never have any more best friends because I already didn't feel comfortable having best friends, and then just kind of like an unreciprocated, I suppose, best friend sort of situation. Then I was just like, well, it's not even worth it because then at the end of the day, like, what does it matter if you have a best friend or not? I feel like that's a lot of pressure putting on somebody as well, calling them your best friend and stuff like that. So obviously everyone does what
Hmm.
they want to, but for me, I just felt like it was a lot of pressure. So it's kind of, I feel like it was kind of telling me, you shouldn't have done this in the first place because you didn't want to anyway. You just kind of, I was trying to fit into a mold that it wasn't for me. So
I get that. I
Yeah.
get that. So that leads kind of to my first question about kind of friendships outside of kind of defining it. Like, so like, what was it like for you all, um, making friends as a child? Like, did you have a lot of friends? Did you have a few friends? Did you have no friends? It's okay. It's okay. You can tell me. We're all friends here.
No pun
I
intended.
so
No, it was intended.
I so me on that, like I never I like as far as like I look at that person and say that person's my best friend. I've always had this like best friend group, you know? Because like like I had good friend I had like best friends from school and I had my best friends from church. So I had this group. If you was in that, called best friends, then that's where you was at. And I treated everybody in that group the same, you know. So that means I didn't call nobody and um out every so often, and that kind of thing. And and other than that, everybody else that wasn't in that best friend stuff, them those are the friends that like 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 because they're all my
Those are just the
well
acquaintances.
all my friends, like I mean I guess I will call them acquaintances, in a sense, because they kind of just fluctuate, fluttered out of my life somewhere, you know. But everybody in that group
Yeah.
of,
But
huh?
Well,
yeah, I was gonna say at the time. So like as a younger person, child, teenager, whatever. Did you have would you consider yourself to have had a lot of friends or a few friends
I had
or
a lot of friends.
a few friend
I had a
groups?
lot of,
You had a lot
I
of
had a lot
friends.
of friends. I had a lot
Oh,
of,
he said that very calm. He's like, I got a
cause
lot of friends. Like, yo, y'all don't even
I,
know. Like,
what are you talking about?
I had
You
a
don't
lot of
have
people
any
he's
get
like, I
me,
had a
friends?
lot of
I had a
them.
lot
It's
of people get
like,
me in trouble.
shoot.
Excuse me.
All
Oh,
right.
really, friends?
Oh, Nate.
I'm just
Right.
playing. I don't care.
How about you, Nate? Did you have a lot of friends, or a few friends, or just a couple of groups of friends, or how did you?
um,
I guess did you typically have a certain way that you were friends with people?
I had a typical. As I said, it was very easy. It's still very easy for me to make friends, but I just have to identify. I just have to identify if the person that I might be trying to be friends with is actually, I don't know if I'm trying to be friends with them, or man. See, you're asking me these questions, and I don't actually. Excuse me. I mean, you're asking us these questions, but I don't actually think about these things. It's just one of these things that naturally happens. I don't. I think there was only one time when I said I wanted to be friends with a certain person, and it actually happened. I told myself that. Oh no, that's not true. That's not true. But anyways, look at I'm getting all
Yeah.
confused now. Okay,
Maybe I
so
just think too much about
I
these things, which is on brand for
okay,
me.
yeah.
That's what I do.
I don't
Right.
know. Like,
Yeah.
listen, okay, here. So when I was younger, I knew a lot of people. I wasn't popular, but I was just really well known. Um, and I wouldn't call those people like at high school and stuff like that. I wouldn't say that I had a lot of friends. I did have a number of friends in various different places, but for high school, it was also different because I kind of wasn't allowed to have friends there because, well, my growing up situation,
I
so
got you. I got
it
you.
wouldn't have it wouldn't have mattered anyway. So most of my friends were at church, and you four were the only friends, the actual friends. There were a lot of people that we talked with, but I would consider them more good
Right.
acquaintances, not necessarily just acquaintances, just really good acquaintances. Then when like I went to university, I made some I made some friends actually. The ones that were the closest are the ones that I don't actually talk to today, but I still think about them quite often.
Yeah, you
And I've reached out and
you had
talked
a whole
to.
crew. Yeah, y'all had a
I
crew.
did. I
Yeah.
did have a whole crew, and I still like. I haven't. Well, one's reached out to me. I reached out to another one. The other two, I haven't talked to in a while, but I still consider them my friends. I still consider them like brothers, actually. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny.
That still didn't answer your
Yeah, no,
question.
you did, and I guess when I explain kind of where I'm coming from, maybe it'll spark something in you guys. But also just thinking about that friend group we had there at college just reminded me about kind of how I typically am with friends. So growing up, I wouldn't say I was a popular person, but I mean I could run fast, and I was moderately humorous, and I got good grades. So I was mostly okay with most people, right? And I was kind of in with most people. But as far as like close friends, I typically would only have like at school like one or two that I would really ever hang out with. And really, so what happens is that kind of almost for me excludes everyone else in a lot of ways. So, it's
Yeah.
when I think about, especially in high school, it was essentially me and one other person. Like we hung out 95% of the time. Like
Yeah.
we had all the same classes together. We worked the same place. We hung out together after school. Like that was who it was. And so there were other people that I would be friends with kind of here and there. But even then that was maybe like 5 people that would sometimes slot in on occasion. Or there'd be some girl,
when you got the time.
right. Or there'd be some girl that I was maybe talking with like intensely for like a couple months, right? A few times that would happen. We'd be going to lunch together, whatever, and then that would fizzle out, and then
They were no longer your friend. Is that what happened?
so I mean, a lot of times with girls, with me, that's what would happen because like it would be friends, and then we get intense, and then then at that point you make a decision, right? And so once you make the decision, then you can't go backwards. Usually, like okay, well now we're just cool friends, like. Especially high school, that doesn't, it's kind of done, it's kind of over. So that's the other piece, right? Was speaking of guy friends, growing up, I'd probably have one or two, and that was kind of it. There'd be other additional people, and so our church situation was different for me because that was a group. That's the only friend group that I think I've ever had, like a guy friend group. That's more than like me and like one or two people. First and last time, honestly. Yeah, like that's like that's all. That's all. It only happened that one time, and it's not really how I operate. Mm-hmm. So that goes go back to college, which I don't think is growing up, but still, it's an example of. I got there, the first week. Again, I latched on to like 2 people, 2 girls. One of them I started dating like the week after I got there, right? And that became like my friend group, right? Like I knew some of like their friends, but I never really had a friend group outside because I get so intensely focused on those 1 or 2 people, and like that's what I do, right? So again, when you came, we were cool, and you had a friend group, but I wasn't part of that group because I had this dating thing going on, right? And so I literally either didn't know how or just refused, but like it's like this is what I'm doing. I didn't have space for like there were times when we would play games and stuff with you, me, and what was the guy's name? Was it Tim? Was his name Tim? Our sweet mate.
Oh, our
yeah. So like we would hang out and do stuff, but it wasn't like we were a friend group per se. It's like, hey, we're gonna get these games in, and everybody else can just kick rocks for the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
So for me growing up and kind of I tend to gravitate towards like a person or 2 people, and like that's who I spend my time with, and that's my friends. Everyone else tends to be kind of close acquaintances, with the exception of our friend group at church, where I had that friend group. But again, that's probably because it was isolated to the weekends and at church, right? So had you guys been at the school I was at, I don't know that would have really happened that way, just because it maybe, but maybe not.
I think it probably would have, just because we were. I mean, that really depends, because it sounds like Tim be making friends all over the place.
Right.
So he might have just been like, y'all ain't cool enough. Hang with them.
Yeah.
These girls, And then Steve also was making, made friends like all over the place. Like he was making them at all different types of churches and stuff like that. Like so.
Yeah.
And no, it'd just been me and you, Chris.
Probably, yeah, bro. And here's the thing, and this is going to sound strange, but at the same time, my close friends and even like close acquaintances tended to be, I don't want to use the word outcast, but it tended to be like the not really popular.
Out.
You know what I mean? Like that's who I was. Like I could hang with any group, right?
Right.
But I tended to kind of spend most of my time with those people.
Yeah.
And so that doesn't lend itself to like these popular groups and like at the parties and all the other stuff. You kind of, that's not really how that works. So that's kind of where I was coming from. Just thinking about kind of my friendships growing up, and I guess moving around a little bit maybe affect that a little bit. But I would just kind of like, okay, cool, I'm here. That's my friend. Like I mentioned the friend I had in high school, so that only happened because I switched schools in 8th grade halfway through the year. And so halfway through my 8th grade year of school, I switched schools, and I get in the classroom with like, I don't know, 20 some kids, and only one of them did I recognize, and that was him. But it's because I used to be friends with his brother. We used to hang out over the summers.
Oh.
I never talked to him, even though we were the same age. His brother's a year older, so he and I were never friends. Like, but I got in that classroom. I was like, I recognize him. I know him, and then we became friends, right? And then it was that way until finishing high school, more or less. I mean, there's some other complications in there, but that's really how it kind of worked out. It was like, okay, cool. I know him. Like, I'm gonna latch onto this person, and then that's what it was. Like, there were other people, but we were rolling the whole time. So, I don't know. So I guess thinking about that, other than your spouse, do you have any, like, anyone you consider like close friends now? It sounds like yes.
Me, yes.
Nate, yes.
Tim?
Yes. Other than
Chris?
on this call.
Yes.
Good for you guys. That's what happened for you.
Podcast over.
So I'm trying to think about it, right? So I these are happy tears, these are laughing tears. I'm not crying.
Yes, I'm sure.
I'm not crying, you're crying. But I'm trying to think, because I put the question in our notes and I was thinking about it, but I didn't really think too deeply, I guess because it hurts too painful. But I'm trying to think about.
We can talk now.
So therapy time. All right, but seriously, I'm trying to think. So close friends, right? I've got my wife. I would consider you guys close friends. I don't really think, and I guess this goes to the way I've been in the past, is latching onto one person. So when I moved here, that one person was Carol, who became my wife. So essentially, I did the same thing. I came here, like there was a group of people where we worked, but like she and I were hanging out, and then like that's what I was doing. Like we were hanging out, and that just progressed. Now we got married, and so I still got that person. So see, that was a good plan, right? She could never leave me because I married her.
But I mean, listen, I told Liam. I told Liam. So when we moved to the U.S. for the 8 months, or we didn't move. I mean, we did move, but whatever. When we moved to the U.S. for the 8 months, I told Liam, look, you got to find some friends. Because I cannot be like your only friend. I'm sorry, that is a lot of pressure, and I like doing things with other people. I like going out and talking. Like I like doing the podcast with you all. I like hanging out with Liam. I like leaving messages. I have my friend in Pennsylvania. We leave sometimes hour-long WhatsApp messages, back and forth or whatever. I consider her a good friend. She's the sister of my friend from university.
I remember.
Who I consider a brother. So those are people I don't necessarily talk to. I mean, like her brother and whatever. I don't talk to like I said, on a constant basis or pretty much at all, but but I still consider them like really close friends. Um, I have a very good friend in Thailand. In fact, another friend of mine and I are going to try to see him. He's in Thailand. I actually have two really good friends in Thailand. We talk. One of them is supposed to be. Hopefully, he'll be coming on the show. You get to meet him. He's very like. We talk. We just really vibe off of each other. We met. And what's interesting though, I did think about this. How we met was because it's easier to meet friends in a place where you kind of have this common ground. I found
Hmm.
like meeting people on the street might be a little bit more difficult, and meeting people like maybe in a bar might be a little bit more difficult. But like I met these people. So I met my friends from at work. So that was common ground, which is weird too, because I don't usually meet. That's not true. I've made friends in work. I'm very leery about that though, because of people's poor work habits. Like, they're just trying to, um, trying to get, you know, make the most money and get up. So, if you tell them something, they definitely would want to try to use that against you in some way, shape, or form,
See
just
that?
so that they can get. That has happened to me, but it didn't. It didn't work. But I also knew that this person wasn't a person to be a friend. So, like, I didn't. They tried to use it against me, and it didn't. It didn't backfire. It just didn't work. It didn't work the way they thought it would. But I do make friends. I have made friends at work prior to my previous job before, and that was, it's just because we've talked the same language. We just vibe on the same thing or whatever. And see, and my friends that I'm supposed to go visit in Thailand, we all met at university. We met in at law school, right? So I don't know if I. Oh, actually, I do have friends. Well, I've met those in work as well. So yeah, I think most of my friends that I've met, it was because we were we had something in common. You know, that's what brought us
So it
together.
sounds like for you, most of your close friends came from either school or some work environment.
Yes, except for Liam, he came from a dating
That
app.
works. That works.
Yes. So let me see. Now I'm trying to think. Do I have any more friends that I just like randomly? No. Yeah. So um, I made some other friends in
Mm,
some like kink parties and stuff that I went to. But again, those are things that we shared in common. Like,
I got you. I got you.
so yeah, yeah.
How about you, Tim? Where'd you get these close friends from? All these friends
Uh,
are they holdovers from childhood, or are they any new ones you've made? After you were a grown person.
a grown person. So let's see. Friends from a grown person. So most of my friends go from like high school and from church.
Mm.
Um,
Now, from church that you've made currently, or from church from when you were younger?
man, I'm talking about y'all, okay?
Well, I mean, I don't. You said you got all kind of friends. I don't know which friends you're talking about.
I'm talking about y'all.
Break the
Yeah.
suspense, Tim.
Right.
Um. But yeah. So yeah, a lot of my friends, yeah, they're from high school, middle school. One's from middle school, but most of them are. I don't. I like. I like. I'm not out right now trying to make new friends. People. If I obtain a new friend, you know, then it's all good. But I'm not out there trying to make new friends because
I mean, that's why you don't have any.
well, yeah, well that
Because
and because I don't
he
I,
said
I
he's
got
got
friends.
Not
friends.
new
New
friends.
friends because
Oh, not new
because I
friends. Yeah.
I don't got no time. New friends require energy. Require hey, let's go hang. I ain't got time to hang. I come home and I do my stuff
But
at
see,
home and I get up and go to work. You know,
Are you just a homebody then? Is that like
I you
your?
know
Because that
I
could.
think I am to a simple point. I could be a homebody sometimes because like
Okay.
there's
But I guess the next question: Do you want to be like? Is that what you want to do, or is that kind of the default because I got kids and family, and it's easiest to just be at home?
Right. Like, listen. I'm just gonna throw this out there since Chris, you brought this up. Do you think? Well, maybe not you, Chris, because that's just you. But Tim, do you think that you'd be making more friends maybe if you didn't have kids? Because I know that you
yeah.
have two kids, right? Yeah. So, do you think that you would like feel like the more
So
energy
no,
if you
my
didn't
kids
have
don't take my
kids?
energy. I wouldn't say that, but like
What
I mean they
kids
do
take energy?
they
What you
do,
talking
but
about? What you talking about,
they
Willis?
do take your energy, but it's in a different way. Like like
Right.
I
Okay.
think right
Okay.
now um where I'm at, I'm okay with the friends I have. I got I hang out, I talk to my brothers, um, my kids, and like I don't want to be that guy that's hanging out with other people who have kids because
Oh.
Why not?
You don't want to be that stereotype. I know. Chris looks a little
No,
offended.
no, I'm just wondering because like you have things in common with them, so why you're like they got kids though? I'm like, but yeah, you do too. Like
because,
I was wondering the way you phrased it.
it's because because then you're put in that situation where you're worrying about people being judgmental about your kids, and you find yourself
Oh,
like
that's probably true, though.
telling your kids act
But
right.
people
I
without
mean,
kids are
because they
judgmental as
I
well.
know they know,
That would,
and then
if I
you
had kids,
become
I would let like you don't even know what you're talking
and then
about.
yourself you become
no, I'm
judgmental. You looking at everybody's kids like, what your kid doing, man? We over here yelling and screaming.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, Chris is right too, because I be judging
So
people
Yeah,
of how
anyone.
they raise their
right.
kids. Yeah, so I'll be like,
So
"What
I
are you
don't,
doing? This
so
is why I don't want kids." Ugh.
I just keep to my kids. I keep to my wife. And I hang out with my friends that I have.
But do you want to have? Do you want to have
No,
more
I think
friends
I don't think I want to have
or
more
new
friends. I
friends? I
think I want to have
suppose.
more interactions with my friends.
Oh,
So
okay, that's interesting.
and I don't like I'm very suffice with the friends. I got people that know who I am, that I don't have to re-explain and reiterate myself to them. They know if I ain't calling them, it's not because I don't. It's not because I don't care about them. It's just because I'm just a jerk, and I'll get at them someday.
Yeah, I mean, I totally feel that because that's one thing that my friends have to learn about me, and it might be a little, and that might be a little rough for them because yeah, I don't
Right.
text all the time, and I don't call all the time, so that is something that they'd have to learn. Um, but so I definitely feel that
Yeah. So Nate,
that
you
frustration.
mentioned that a lot of your friends, you guys kind of shared like interests in how you became friends. Tim, I guess since a lot of your friends you had from a while back, do you guys still share like similar interests? Like you still like the same things?
I mean, yeah. I mean, to the most point, we, there's things we change about. Um, there's some friend. You have friends for so long. Sometimes you don't really have that much in common with them, except that you're friends.
Well, right. Yeah, I guess that was kind of what I was
Oh,
asking
okay.
is like are they someone you could be friends with now, or are they just like a legacy friend, but now you don't hang out with them because what you're gonna do? Like you don't like the same stuff. Like you don't like the same stuff. You don't do. You're not in the
Yeah.
same area. Like it just doesn't really fit. Even though you consider them a friend just because of history, right?
I mean, I guess I could say I have those friends, but but they're still my friends, and I wouldn't trade them for nothing. They're legacy friends that I still talk to, and I still hang. And like we have a good time when we're talking or whatnot. And when I see them in person, in IRL, you know, we still have a good time. So they're my friends in my chair, but they're still my good friends.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Why do you say Nate? Are you questioning
Yeah, I'm
the
curious.
close friend designation?
No, it's just we're all three of us are just really, really
Yeah,
different.
yeah,
That's really
it really is
interesting.
because for me, um, yeah, I don't really have any close friends, and part of it is because a lot of things get let go over time, right? So like these legacy friends, like it just I don't have them because that's not how I work,
Yeah.
right? Like we're only talking because I made a decision, right, to
Right.
make this happen, right? I was like, look, I'm gonna do this, and then intentionally did it. It was something I had to actually go do. It didn't just organically happen because we've been hanging out and talking the whole time, right? It just like Nate and I would have a conversation, like we would chat for like an hour, like once a year, if that, or something. Like it'd be randomly,
Yeah.
hey, what's up? Yeah, and then peace, and then it was like done. Like it was fine, but like we weren't like keeping in
Yeah.
contact and talking, and like it just wasn't a thing. And that's the most I was doing, So that's what I was doing with anyone, really. So like anyone else, like less of a friend than that, is getting nothing essentially.
That picture
Like
on
two
Facebook.
people, yeah, like two people messaged me out on my birthday this year, and we talked for like a good time. And it's the first time we talked in like years, right? And it's just
Mm.
that was just a random thing, but I don't think we'll be talking again anytime soon. It's just we had a conversation, it ended, and that's probably what's going to be for a while. So for me, any close friend I have now is probably not going to be someone I'm going to reach back out and bring in because one, they're far away. That just I only have so much space to make that work. Right. You guys, I mean, we're similar in that way. Like if I'm not going to
Yeah.
see you every so often, that's a
Yeah.
lot of work. So now, I mean, I have to make friends. Again, I moved here and didn't know anybody. And then as way I am, I made the one friend that I married. So, I mean, I have other people that are friends, but like not intimate friends.
Right.
Um, so it becomes work. It becomes intentional, which makes it that much more difficult because it sounds like neither of you have intentionally said, I'm going to go make some friends. And how do I
Well,
do this?
to that very point, I did. So when we first got to Normandy, I totally because I had made friends in Geneva. Um, most of them were through university, but some of them were from other various like activities or whatever. But then we moved to Normandy where I didn't know anybody, and I told Liam that I was like, listen, I need to make some friends here or in the region. It's just something I just feel the need to do. Like I don't have to like I can be a homebody, but there's also a time where I just like I need to go out and like hang out with some people or whatever. Or talk to somebody, so message somebody or something like that. So it's very alternating, right? Sometimes I just don't want to I don't want to be bothered by anybody, and that can last for a month, 2 months, or 3 months, where I just, whatever. But then there are times where I'm just like, look, I got to go out and meet some people or hang out, or whatever. And currently, I don't have that in my region. I've met some people, but it's been a little bit more difficult. I don't know why. I don't know if it's actually me or if it's I've made some really good acquaintances, I would say, but no actual friends because I didn't get this. Like I said, there's a feeling that I have when I know that this is a person that I can like really talk to. I don't know if it's actually English because all of my friends are basic English speaking. I mean, not basic, like they can, when we talk, we usually talk in
Mm-hmm.
English. I think all of my friends up to this point are this way. Um, no, no, that's not true. No, I have a really good friend. Actually, she says we met in law school, and we were like, she was like, she, I forgot what happened, but she ended up calling me her husband, so I called her my wife, and so we were like fake married in law school or whatever. And then she got married, and then I got married, and then our husbands liked each other, so like we're like this, you know, two couples sort of thing, but they only speak French, so that kind of debunks my
Mm-hmm.
questioning. So I don't know, but yeah, I am very adamant about making friends here in this region. I don't know, I don't need a lot, probably like one or two or three maybe, um, because I also know that each friend, like I said, usually holds a different, I can usually talk to about different things. So
Mm-hmm.
so anyways, yeah, but I'm also very intentional. Like there are certain people like I was intentional about when I was in university meeting this one person. I ended up meeting them like and becoming what I would still consider acquaintances, but at least I got to meet him. And then there's like some actors I think that I really am intentional about meeting. I'm not crazy, but there's some that I just feel like we'd vibe really
Mm-hmm.
well. Like Colton Haynes, for example. I was like, man, I would really like to, because I read his book, and I was just like, yeah, I was like, we should have met, but there's no coincidences or anything like that. But yeah, but generally, no. I just end up meeting people, and we kick it off really well, and so yeah. So that's why I was just thinking, because I was thinking about what you all were saying, and yeah, we're just so different. Like Chris is like one, Tim's like I have a lot, but they're all from back in the
Right.
day, and I'm just like leaving. Like as I go along in life, I'm just like leaving a trail of
Exactly.
friends.
Exactly. Yeah, it makes I guess it makes the current situation different for all of us because I do think it's important to have friends that you can talk to like about real stuff, right? And not
Yeah,
only dump it on your spouse, right? That's not really fair. you
definitely.
know
Yeah,
so
yeah,
but to find that, I find for me, and maybe it's just self-consciously, I feel very different from most people to myself. i
mm,
i feel very unique, and I'll give an example. So you guys know we all like video games and comic books, all that kind of stuff. The minute I go to like Comic-Con or something like that, I feel 1,000% out of place. I don't feel like, oh cool, I'm with my people. I feel
yeah,
like they really like this in a way that I'm not really there. Like it's just, I feel like it's a different thing than me. Even though
hmm,
like that's really all the only things I really even have as like a hobby or enjoy are those things. But I feel like those people don't feel like my people, and maybe I'm just somehow
That seemed crazy.
got some kind of blinders and I don't see that I really am the same as them, or maybe I'm some
hmm,
kind of other unique category that's not quite there, but somewhere, I don't know. But it feels weird, and there's a lot of things like that where like I like board games and stuff. I love that, but like if I go to a place where people play board games, then it's like those people play board games. You know what I mean? Like they
yeah,
do it, and I'm like,
yeah,
that's not quite my people
Yeah,
either. Like who are the people that like the stuff but don't like the stuff, but like are cool and not
right,
like
obsessed.
weird? Like not that I'm whatever special, but it's just like I find difficulty navigating all of that. So like who can I find that has similar sense of humor, likes stuff I like, but is still like chill and cool like me, but not like where's those people at? And that's like
yeah.
I gotta try to
Well, I
find them.
mean, I don't know if really, but like I think for, well, I think maybe statistically, the easiest places to find friends or to make friends are like in school, or
Well, yeah, it is.
and so even if you're an adult and you go to school, you can or you do some kind of training or whatever, you can still make friends. That would be, I don't know if it's a good idea to go to
Right, yeah.
school just to make
Maybe we'll get a
friends.
master's degree to make some more friends. Right. Yeah.
But that is but I'm like you in that. So for example, I made a friend at
Mm.
law school. We both like card games, and he and I like Magic the Gathering. He wanted to know how to play Magic the Gathering, but he was more into Yu-Gi-Oh, and he took me to where he played card games. And I met his friends there. They were cool, but I didn't become friends with them, right? Because I could have become friends, but not in that setting, right? So that's how I felt like what you were saying. Like if I went to a Comic Con, I think I would enjoy Comic Con. Like Liam and I went to this Japanese festival in Paris, and there were
Oh
people
yeah.
just like dressed up or whatever. I I felt I didn't feel out of place. I was just like that that's not, and I don't think I would ever make friends with them in this scenario. Like I'm there for, to manga and see all the things or whatever, but I don't see myself becoming friends with them unless somehow we hit it off, but I wouldn't expect it that. But I could, like in that situation, I was with Liam, so we could enjoy it
Yeah,
together.
exactly.
But we were already friends. Well, we're husbands,
Right.
but like we're already friends prior to this, sort of thing. So I feel you on that. I think that, for example, bars, people say you can meet people, friends in bars. Don't think so. I don't know why. It just never has happened, and I kind of feel like it's forced, and I don't like forcing it. And you might be possible, but for me,
Yeah.
I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
So,
I,
but I suppose.
oh,
Go ahead, Tim.
what I was gonna say is, so I like when it comes to friends, who's I think everybody's category of what a friend is different, as we're all saying right here,
Yeah.
and it's about a
Yeah.
need, on and everybody has a different need when it comes to a friend, you know. Um, I think I just essentially said I have no needs. Um,
Well,
You and Chris, we have no
yeah,
needs.
no, I think I have them. It's just I've yet to figure out how to resolve it in a way. Also, on top of it, I think I tend towards introversion. Like I can be outgoing or whatever, but I'm definitely introverted. So that also just compounds it. And then also we can go to therapy here. Like I just like fear of rejection is super high with me.
Oh
Like
yes. Oh god.
so add that to that. Like I'm not gonna walk up and be, hey, you want to be friends? Like I don't like that's not what I'm ever gonna do. So it has to come about in some organic way, which would be probably work or church, where I'm around you enough that we can have some conversations and then it eventually grow to something over some time. Um
I'm the
and
I'm the one to walk up to
yeah,
everybody.
hopefully we have things in common outside of just like being able to be friends that we could actually go do something. Because that was the other thing with me with guys. It's difficult to have a friend where you don't have things you enjoy in common, right? Like I can be friends with a female very easily, and we just talk. Like they don't have to like video games or any of it or like whatever. Like we can just be friends on that. Well, I don't do that anymore because that's just for me not a good idea. It just is it doesn't make any sense to try to do that
Right.
now. It's
Okay.
too late. Yeah.
You know what? That's really funny too, because I don't have that issue. Like I will definitely make friends with guys or girls, and actually have no problem. Like it's not even a thing
Yeah.
for me. So
Well, maybe because like the need I have for a friend is not for a casual friend. Right. So
Right, okay.
if I'm becoming a friend with you, it's because I need a friend, like something intimate. And so that to me is just dangerous, right? Like it's probably not what, again, because it's probably going to be on the basis of conversation, not the basis of like mutual interest. Whereas with the
Right.
guys,
Well,
for me, it's more difficult to be like, hey, let's just talk for 3 hours, like and get to know each other. Less likely to happen for me.
yeah, but when you put it like that, yes, it's quite unlikely to happen. Liam and I have very few interests together. We just enjoyed each other's company, and I saw him as, which I thought actually was going to ruin the relationship, because I was just like, well, we have no interest. Like I literally want green, and he wants blue. Like it's just like it's always something opposite, and I really didn't think that it was going to work. But then I also felt like it was going to work. It was a weird thing, but we didn't have that's not what brought us together. It was really just I don't know, just wanting to spend time with each other or
Right.
whatever. Obviously that's something different, but
Yeah.
Um, there are friends like, for example, you, Chris. I can just talk about just anything, Um, and let's see. I do like. There's. I don't know. Like, well, no. I guess maybe her. We. I don't know. Um, I guess that's true. A lot of my friends, I do share a common, but we don't. That's not the only thing we talk about. So we do share a common interest, but it's not the only thing. It's not even mostly the thing that we talk about. But also, I think I'm different from you two as well, just in the fact that I'm far more open about literally
Absolutely.
everything.
I remember like back in the day when theaters didn't have assigned seating, like we'd go to a movie and it'd be some like center area where we wanted to sit, right? And I'm like, well, Nate, can you see if there's space in there? Can you ask them to, like, that was your job, right? Or we go to church late, we're trying to sit somewhere. Hey, Nate, can you, He's like, yo, can we sit over here? Like, okay, cool. We go, like, Nate doesn't care. Like, whatever.
Yeah,
And I'm like, sweating. Okay, I'll just stand. It's fine. Whatever. Like,
yeah. So I
absolutely.
think that's one thing. Yeah, one thing that's like a huge difference for us. What are you thinking, Tim?
I mean, I'm still on the whole thing, like the whole need and stuff. Like I was always the person that I think all my friends, I think I introduced myself to them all, except for
Oh, very
maybe
proactive.
one. Um, and that's because he was a person just like me, and we kind of like we wasn't friends, and then we just kind of grew into friends. But um,
Mm.
I never, yeah, I never had that like I think like I was always a person who could be an introvert, you know, but I never allowed myself to do that, and probably until now, and that's probably what's going on with me right now. But
Yeah. So you don't identify as
well,
being an introvert?
when I was younger, no, I was never an introvert. I was a person that kept to myself but talked to everybody. So I don't know how to explain that.
Okay. I mean, introversion is the concept from what I've read is where you basically get your energy. Do you feel depleted being around people, or do you feel energized being around people, and then
Hmm.
vice versa?
Right.
Okay, then I would not say I was an introvert. I used to. When I was younger, I was the guy that went downtown sometimes when I had nothing to do, just to be around people. Uh,
Oh,
Yeah,
so
I feel that. I feel that.
nah.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds terrible. That's making me tired.
Yeah. You know what the funny thing is? The funny thing, you said that, and there was literally half of my brain was like, "Yes, I know what you're talking about," and the other half was like, "God, get me away from that."
Yeah.
Like I consider myself an extroverted introvert. So people being around people, talking to people, it really exhausts me. It depletes me. But then at the same time, in certain situations, I want to be around not a lot of people,
people.
just people, and then that kind of feels like it
Yeah.
re-energizes me.
Yeah. I think about
So
when I was younger, I wasn't super introverted, but I was definitely, more to myself. But there would be exceptions. Like sometimes we would have like outdoor school for a week, or we'd be at some camp meeting or some event. And very often, as those events were closing, I would get some kind of second personality, and I would be like a different person. Like I don't know what it was, but like, this
yeah,
is the last night. All of a sudden, like I'm on, and it's like a different thing. And I don't think I can't recall that being something I've done like as an adult. But I remember younger, like I would recognize like, oh, like Party Christian is here. Like it's like a different. It's a different, a different thing. I don't know where it came from or why, but it would just happen.
yeah.
Like life of the party, and then back to same old same. We would get back to school, but I don't know.
Well, because I remember that happened at university. I remember, I always remember we were playing. We went to this party. I don't know whose party it was. We were in it, and we were playing Taboo, and we won Taboo. Okay? Because I remember I had Ditto. Do you remember that?
No.
You don't remember? I had the word to describe, which was ditto, like the ditto
Mm-hmm.
marks or whatever. And and I remember your girlfriend at the time was so frustrated. How did you get that? And all I did was like, this is a Pokemon. Take on any form.
Killing it.
Like you were like at that time you were like the life of the party. So I have
Yeah, it's strange, right? I don't know where that comes from, but I haven't seen that in a while. But yeah, I wonder, as I was looking at some different articles and reading about, it seems like, different studies say that, adult men tend to have the least friends, which I think is also could be why we see adult men, even especially younger adult men, having a lot of issues and like a lot of isolation and loneliness, and you see what that causes, right? So it is a problem. Like people need friends. People need to be able to talk to someone in an intimate level and discuss things. So it's important. And so, I want to talk through it. I don't have any great advice. I mean, a lot of advice I see is, put yourself out there, be vulnerable, it's good advice. It's easier said than done, at least for someone like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really depends on your personality.
Yeah,
it's not. It doesn't mean so. If you know that you want friends, then that means it's possible. Now you just have to figure out the best way to go about it, and you might not know what it is right now. But if you don't want friends, trying to force yourself to make friends is just going to be detrimental. You're just going to be bitter at the end of the day. So.
But I think everyone should be honest. Like I think everyone needs friends, right? And to say I don't need any friends, you're lying to yourself. You may not need a bunch of friends, but again, I don't need the 10,000. But I should probably have a couple people here that I could go hang out with and talk to if I need to talk to somebody and just get stuff off my chest and kind of just talk through some stuff. And I think what's going to end up probably being is probably the antithesis of Tim's goal is probably someone that's got kids, right? Because again, it's another reason to be around someone without artificially creating something. So if our kids are at an event or doing something, or then we can hang out and talk because we're just going to happen to be together, right? And that instead of, hey, do you want to come to my house and like become friends? Like, but hey, your kid's coming to my house, like you're here for a couple hours. Why don't we also have a game night? Or it's also just chill or whatever, and then that's how it's probably gonna have to end up being in a lot of ways, I think. Because work, I don't think is gonna necessarily be the place. So it's probably gonna end up being parents from church potentially. And I'm always kind of trying to look for someone because it's also easier if it's a couple that we can hang out with. That also we it's like we can hang out with them as a couple or separately, and that would work. And so
that's funny because that's what I was because you were talking about they would have kids, and I was like, or maybe someone that Carol ends up becoming friends with, and end up becoming
right. Yeah. So we're constantly trying to figure out, like, hey, someone she's already friends with, that their husband will work with me, and that doesn't always work out. Just personality wise, doesn't always fit. Yeah. It's like, oh, damn, they're cool people, but we're not really gonna be friends. And maybe I'm just very picky about friendships. Maybe that's also what it is. I'm picky about a lot of things. But
I think it's just one of those things where you just know. Like, I don't know if it's, I don't know. I mean, because
to a point, it's good to be picky about your friends, because these are the people that eventually one day you're going to tell them stuff, and they're going to tell you some messed up stuff. Here's my messed up advice for your simple issue.
Yeah.
Now go destroy your life. Yeah.
Oh, I agreed on the friends piece. I think I'm probably a little too picky on the even like attempting piece, right? Like it's not like I'm gonna say, hey, what's up? Here's my life story in the next 30 minutes and just blah all to them, right? That I would never do that. But to even give them the chance to like show me or not, I'm probably a little bit too restricted on that front end. So I'm gonna try to do better with that. But yeah, so it sounds like y'all aren't struggling like me, so that's cool. That's fine.
I don't,
this podcast was the Christian therapy show.
I don't know. I think right now
Nate's like, I'm good. Tim's like, I got plenty of friends. What are you talking about,
no,
friends?
no. I think right now is this. I'll say this. Okay, as far as friends right now, right? I think right now my concerns right now are just in other places. I don't feel like right now I'm in a place where I'm eligible to be out there trying to make friends. You know, uh, right now, like so, like like
Like you don't think you have something to
no,
like
it's not that. It's
give or
like when you have a friend, like I said before. Okay, you want to they're gonna want to say, hey, let's go do this thing, right? Or let's do that thing, right? I just I'm just now like getting to a place where I can feel like I'm able to do those things. At first, for a while, I didn't feel like I was able to do those things for various reasons. So,
yeah, but that sounds very like
mhm.
action oriented. Like, I have friends that I don't do anything with at all. We
Yeah, but
just
not new friends, right?
talk.
Oh,
Yes,
really?
new
You just
friends. We just talk.
oh.
Yeah, yeah. I just I'm sorry, I was gonna say justement in French.
English, please, English.
But like this is precisely what I was talking about. Like I do want friends that I can actually go out
Mhm.
and hang out with. Um, just go chilling and whatever is in the region. But most of my friends currently, I
Mm.
just talk to them. Yeah. So I mean, but that's also very helpful. Like Chris said, you don't want to be unloading, everything on your spouse. Poor person. They got their own drama to deal with, and then you just unloading
Yeah,
all of
just come
your
home,
drama on
unload a
top of
clip
them,
into them.
like all of it.
Be like,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to spread the love around. Like now, everyone knows that you're sad.
Right.
And like,
Right. And not just that, like even like they shouldn't be responsible to always like entertain you either, right? Like so, like
right?
if I
Yeah,
want to go see a movie, it can't always be either myself or my spouse. Which sometimes that's
correct.
really what it is.
yeah.
Like, or sometimes take Jaden, so take my son with me, right? But like, it
Right.
really shouldn't be like. For a while, I did have a group where I would try to invite people to come see movies with me. Even that just kind of didn't quite get where I thought it was going to go,
Mhm.
Mm.
because you're watching the movie, you're not talking a whole lot during the movie, right? And sometimes we go
Yeah.
eat something afterwards, like a few of us, and and then that was it until the next movie. So that didn't really quite get what I was trying to
Yeah.
do, but it could just be because none of them really fit that way. Because sometimes, if it happens, it happens. If not, then I guess you keep it
Listen,
moving.
you know what's missing though? What's really missing? I know we should be closing this up, but like what's really missing is like
Oh
sleepovers
my
and stuff
gosh.
like
Well,
that.
yeah,
Like
like which is like we don't have.
we don't
Sleepovers.
do
You know,
any
Yeah,
I
of
was
those
at
things
birthday
anymore.
parties to that too, man. We gonna say that. Like,
Listen, birthday parties
look,
as
that's
well.
why I didn't
Okay.
really have a 40th birthday party. I'm like, who am I going to invite and what are we going to do? I have no idea, so I just didn't do it. Like,
No, but these are things that we should still be. I feel like we should still be doing. Like I did it. I've done it with my friends in when I was in Geneva in Switzerland. Um, like I had friends who were in. Like I had a friend, one of my good friends. He used to live in Lausanne, and he was throwing a party. So we just went over to his place. We slept in his like apartment or whatever, and then they had the party the next day or that evening or something like that. Like those are the types of things that really like you know you create a bond, sort of thing. So I really feel like those are the types of things that we should
yeah,
be doing.
if y'all were here, I would definitely do that. I'd be like, yo, let's hang out
Yep.
for a weekend and just, we'll watch funny stuff and play games and laugh and.
Deep thoughts.
but see, here's the thing.
Oh man.
But see, you guys are like well established friends, at least for me. So
Yeah.
that's that. For
Well,
if
right.
you
Well,
said that, Chris,
exactly.
I'll be like, yeah, sure, yeah. No, I wouldn't even think about it. I'd be like, yeah, yeah,
Right.
sure, it's gonna do it. But if I had just met you like a month ago, I'd be like, I had to
So
think about it.
listen. Let me put a scenario out there. So to Tim's point, let me put a scenario out there. Okay, imagine that you just met somebody, and they were like, "Look, we're going to, um, I don't know, like going on a weekend vacation to, I don't know, Florida or, South Florida or something like that or whatever. And like everything's paid for. You just got to come. You just got to bring your suitcase.
I'm
And
already stressed.
would you?
I'm already. Literally, I was already like, man, I barely know these people. Like, I don't.
Right.
This is just.
You would think about it. Even if it's free, all paid for.
It's
You
already
think about that. You're
I'll
like,
find some
Chris,
excuse to not go.
This is hypothetical.
do I want to embarrass
Give me a
myself in front
second.
of these people?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my
But if it was
goodness.
y'all,
How
I would
do
be
I
like,
have my own room? How long have I known this person? What are we going to be doing? There's a lot
Yeah.
of like empty time.
yeah, man,
Oh,
I
man.
can't talk to this
Oh,
person
man.
for 24 hours. I don't have all them words for them.
Yeah. No, I mean like there's a bunch of people. So
A bunch of people.
Yeah. You're like, so my
That's
mind,
even.
my mind be like this.
I don't know which is worse.
So these bunch of
I don't know
people,
which is more
my
stressful.
mind be like, these bunch of people are these people I know or are these
Yeah.
people that they know? Because if it's just people that they know, then I don't want to go.
Oh.
Yeah, that would be far more awkward.
Oh, I
Yeah.
don't.
Well, you know what, you're right, because I'd feel awkward that, and then I don't
Yeah.
like doing that. You're right, but I was thinking what I had in mind was what Chris was saying about his group where, it kind of fizzled out, but before they would go to movies and stuff like that. So I was actually just projecting that onto this scenario where you all go, so you all kind of know each other.
Right.
This is opportunity
Right.
to really get to know each other.
Honestly, it would take a lot of mental work to do that. Even with that group, I'm not saying I would never do it, but I would be finding every excuse not to do it. And Carol would be trying to find every excuse for me to go do it. You should do it. It's definitely be good for it. I'm like, okay, and it might be fun, but like oh boy, this is,
Yeah.
man.
Like I said,
It's so stressful.
if it was you guys, I wouldn't think about it. I'd be like, yeah, hey, they just invited me today. We're about to go out there. This is what's gonna happen. But if it was this group of people that I quasi know, it's like, yeah, I hung out with them a couple
Yeah.
of times, and now we're going to go hang out for a lot of time. I'd be like, yeah, they invited me. My wife would be like, won't you do it? I'll be like, well, I'm thinking about it. And I'll probably think about it.
Which means no,
I'll probably
basically.
be thinking,
Right.
if we was going to
Like,
meet
I'm
up
thinking
on
about it.
Thursday and it was Monday, I would be thinking about it all the way
Mm.
until Wednesday night. Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
it wouldn't,
Yeah.
it wouldn't come natural.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have just a quick question. Just I was thinking about in closing. I was looking at some of my notes and thinking about intimacy and being your true self with friends. How many people other than your spouse would you say like actually know almost exactly who you are?
Depends on where they're at.
Nobody. I mean, Chris, I think you probably would know me. Apart from my spouse, you probably would know me.
And I was gonna say the same, Nate. I was thinking like it's obviously not 100%, but like
Right.
knowing the closest version of like the actual me would be you. And a part of that is because we lived together for 2 years, right? And there's a lot of history there, right? So
Yeah.
that can't be replicated like now,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that because I mean, that's difficult to find, but really like that's ultimately, I think, like an important part of it is someone that you can really be yourself around. Maybe not everything, but and I think part of me, that's also it, is like I know me. And I'm like, you don't really want to know this person, right? Like you want to know like some of the jokey this person or this other, but like this one, I don't know you can handle it. I don't know if you want to.
That's what I tell myself all the time.
I know, like, I don't know. Do you have anyone, Tim?
As
Or
far as that,
He's like that.
Well, because okay,
He's
I
like,
mean,
don't
it's
tell
nothing
anybody
dirty,
anything.
Tim.
no,
I'm
no,
just
no,
talking about just someone knowing
no,
you
no, no.
well.
So here's the
He's
thing.
like, I mean,
So
that.
here's the thing. Like, I've always kept myself. So the person that you guys always saw me as, that's pretty much who I am. I carry all my stuff on my sleeve. I show everybody who I am. If I don't like you, I would literally tell you I don't like you. I don't have no problem with that. I'm I, I'm slow to adapt to people, but um but when I know you, that's it. That's it. Show's over.
So
I'm
got it. So in thinking about that, so there's no situation, Tim, where you might be somewhere living your best life, enjoying
mhm.
yourself, and Nate and I walk in, and we not be surprised.
Nope. You guys are if it like this, if there's anything that you guys would be surprised about is that you've never seen me do it. You know, like here, like this. Okay, if you guys ever saw me dance, but you won't. Don't
I've
worry, you
never
won't.
seen you
I
dance.
didn't know you danced.
No.
I didn't know you danced, but I've seen you
Don't
dance.
worry, you will never see me dance because
Okay.
Why not?
that ain't the thing I do.
What?
Okay.
I'm confused now. I'm getting confused. Do you dance or do you not
No,
dance?
I don't dance. I do a little shoulder things, that's it. When I'm like in a car or I'm in a chair or
Oh my
whatever. All
goodness.
right. But I don't do the shoulder and the feet. That don't work with me. That's just things. So if you
Okay.
guys ever saw me dancing, yeah, okay, you might be shocked about that. And I'll be shocked too, because I'll probably be like
Yeah, that wouldn't
liquidated
happen.
and just drunk. But
Oh my
you know,
Well,
goodness.
he's asking because I can imagine situations where I'm off doing something or talking about something, and they come in and hears the conversation and like not shocked. You might Tim come and be like, whoa, 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 like
Yeah.
what are y'all talking about? Like what is this? Like what is this?
Yeah. But I mean, I have to admit to Tim's point, I mean, because I didn't know from what Tim was saying, but I do feel like over the years, like, I mean, since Tim is saying that, I can see that being the case where he's like, no, what you see is what you get, sort of thing, because that's how he's always been. Tim's always been like he said, if you don't, I don't know, I've never heard him say he doesn't like somebody, but he's always just very kind of direct, always nice about it, but very direct about his how he's felt and stuff like that. So I mean, if you say that, Tim, that I totally believe you, because like I always felt like you know, if I had something like, if I just wanted to talk to you about something serious, you'd be like, yep. Like it was just very kind of like this. I don't know. I hadn't thought about it until Tim said it. And then as Tim said it, I was like, actually, I can actually believe that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think he's right. Like you would never see him dancing. Like it's like
all right,
I'm
no,
not gonna
I'm
I'm
not
not gonna
dancing. My
dance.
leg is my leg is actually breaking right now. This is not happiness.
Wow, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that until literally just now. That's very
Interesting indeed.
But yeah, as Chris was saying, like I am the same way. I mean, Tim, you've caught wind of some things, but I guarantee.
And Tim was definitely appalled. He's like, wait, Nate, what? He was clutching all the pearls.
But yeah, I feel like I just have so many like different, like none of my friends know the real, like the real me, the me that I know, because I'm like you, Chris. I'm like you. I don't know if you really. I don't know if you can. So,
It's a lot. It's a lot.
It is a lot. So yeah,
it's a lot.
All right, well, let's go ahead.
Yeah, I think we should probably wrap it up. But yeah, I look forward to maybe revisiting this in a year or so and seeing, if those of us that need more friends, Christian, have any more, and those that have plenty, how that's going. It was definitely a good conversation to have. But again, folks, it's been fun. Thanks for being with us. This will be our sign off. Don't forget, we are unofficially opinionated, so find us everywhere. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Again, we're on YouTube. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that fun stuff. We've got video on Spotify as well. So yeah, check out the YouTube as well. I know I mentioned that, but it's getting better and better. We're working on it. Nate is out there working hard. Yes. So once again, thank you, Nate, for all the hard work doing the editing stuff. Tim, again, thanks for the graphics. That's his piece. Jaden Moore is out there doing the theme music. So eventually we'll get a link to his SoundCloud so y'all can check him out as well. But yeah, again, thanks y'all, and we'll catch you next time.
All right. Ciao.
Bye, Tim.
Bye, Tim.
Arr. I don't know.
I'm editing this in there.
I don't know. I don't know. What is so funny?
I don't know.
Okay.
I told you this ain't the first time we've done that.
No.